What?
Nothing.
Well, you giving somebody the stink eye over there.
What are the neon?
Those are glow ghosts, made by the Pineapple Corporation.
Oh yeah.
Am
I supposed to know that?
Well, probably not, but I had to rebuy those. But I had all of them as a kid. They were cereal premiums, but they were also apparently sold carded and in stores too. They glow.
At the same time back then or later?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how old?
Mid 80s.
Really?
Yeah. I love them to death, but they all kind of have a certain shape to them.
Okay, people.
We are back for what stands to be the final
of 2019.
The final FwooshCast.
Let's call it Winter FwooshCast.
Winter FwooshCast. Winter Wonderland FwooshCast.
FwooshCast Winter 2019
edition.
You know, our quarterly
1.0
podcast.
We're going to get better about that,
Yeah,
though. We've
yeah.
been talking about that. But we'd planned on joining up again before the end of the year, the last time you were here. But this was kind of a quick put together this weekend because we knew that we had to do this with the holidays coming up because we had to discuss the subject that we are here to discuss.
Right. I mean, you can't
before
do
the end of the year.
You don't want to do the best of 2000 or your favorite of 2000.
Yeah, we're going to be pretty
in the
adamant
first month
about
or two.
that.
You don't want to wait till January 2020 to do that.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
By then, you have new shit.
And
you're already looking at
it's like, oh,
best
did
of.
that come out this year or last year? I don't remember.
We're already doing that now.
Yeah.
I picked something a minute ago that was 2017. Did I just get that? No, I didn't. It feels like it sometimes.
But this is, if you haven't guessed, our favorite five. Favorite five.
Not best of.
Not best of.
Because best of would mean this articulation is better than this articulation. These paint apps in this company is better than that company. This is what we like.
Yeah, a best of is, this is from an action figure perspective, the best thing. But this is more of these are the favorite figures that I got this year.
Yeah.
Because they mean something to me or I just love them for what they are. And some of them I consider to be the best, but not... They don't have to be to make this list, and it makes me happier to talk about stuff like that.
And when I gathered mine together, which you'll see here in a minute, I'm looking at my pile and thinking, man, that's a lot of just main character, not very risky picks. You know what I mean? At least character-wise.
Well, and we mentioned this too. It's like this year I was inundated with some of the most amazing figure. This was an amazing figure year, but then when I'm breaking it down, it was like, gosh, the amount of companies that I really bought into seems smaller than previous years, and the amount of properties kind of did the same thing, but the stuff that we got from those companies and within those properties are amazing.
Right. And then on top of that, like we were talking about earlier, we could do a top 5 Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
We could do a top 5 probably Turtles,
Star Wars.
Yeah. But we're just doing top 5. And I keep saying top. It's favorite.
Favorite
Technically
5.
speaking, favorite 5.
Yeah.
Fwoosh favorite 5.
Fwoosh favorite 5 figures.
Friday.
You gonna make this go up on a Friday?
No, this is a Sabbath, Fwooshy Sabbath. Because we can't keep it to 5 though. We did a runner-up.
Because I could do a top 20 here.
Yeah.
Right now.
Top 30.
Top
Fwoosh 50. Squash.
Top Fwoosh
We're
50.
rebranding ourselves. Welcome to the Vegetable Channel. So, runner-up. Well,
honorable mention.
Honorable mention. How's that?
Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So, honorable mention for this year is the Marvel Legends 80th anniversary Colossus from the Colossus and Juggernaut 2-pack. After the Thing, who was my favorite figure of the year for 2018.
Which I thought came out this year.
Colossus is my favorite Marvel character, and this is my favorite look for Colossus, and I've been waiting on this figure for a very long time, and I'm very happy to have it. So, yeah. Why are you laughing?
Very book report style.
Webster's Dictionary.
If we were doing a Marvel Legends top 5, I would probably add Colossus.
Yeah.
But, man, I had to tweak on mine a little bit.
Yeah, the hands look a little bit small, but like I said, this isn't just on the merits of, the excellence of the figure. When there's a line that's really going and a lot of characters are getting amazing figures, you're kind of like, when's my guy gonna
Yeah.
come along? And then when he does, it's a relief. It's happiness, all at the same time. But this is the guy I've been waiting on since really Hasbro took over, or I was feeling my Toy Biz Colossi figures being a little dated.
And they did that modern style with the glorious beard.
Yes, which is awesome in its own right, but it's hard.
It's not Colossus.
It's
classic. I would try to say classic, but it's classic Colossus.
Colossus.
Never do that again.
He's probably not the best Marvel Legend that came out this year, but he's probably the one that makes me the most happy to have.
Yeah.
Colossus.
There's runner-up.
Runner-up.
My runner-up is the Good Smile Company Figma My Hero Academia Midoriya.
And you're going to have to explain those words to me.
And if this had been 6 months ago, I wouldn't have known what I was talking about in the first place, and everybody that watches the weekly knows that. But because McFarlane started making these figures, I started diving into the anime, watching it, and then Figma, this is actually a re-release. That's why he's runner-up, because he released...
He came out this year. You got him this year.
I got him this year.
His first appearance
was earlier than this year.
Okay.
This, though, is a perfect representation of, from screen to plastic, of this character.
What's the hand pose going on here? Is he
This
getting ready
right
to flick
here,
stuff?
he's got, his power is not, the power was passed on to him, and he couldn't control it at first. As far as I am in the show, he still can't control it.
That power.
But if he uses full power, he breaks his own bones and stuff.
But
so
what
he
does he
injures
do?
himself.
What's he do?
So at this point, he's just flicking, and he's breaking each finger with each hit.
Ow!
Just look at that. Nice,
cool.
crisp lines, paintwork, articulation.
You can never really bag on Figma for their articulation and sculpt work.
I mean, it's a little bit
always
limited
tough.
in actual range, but because of the sculpt. So that gets us into the actual
list, what you have all been waiting for. All right, so number 5.
Your number 5.
Number 5 for me goes to the NECA Gremlins Caroler Gremlin from one of their 2 Caroler Gremlin sets, but the one with what I'm calling the Newsboy hat. NECA has put out several G1, Generation 1, first movie Gremlins. There's the Gamer Gremlin, Stripe came out, these Caroler sets, and they all use pretty much the same base body and whatnot. And really, you take the hat off, you take the scarf off, and you've got just that base standard Gremlin. But this guy, I don't know. There's something about with the hat and the scarf and how he can be standing with the caroling book. He just like encapsulates this particular Gremlin perfectly. I knew that I was going to have to pick one of them, and this guy just makes me so
Because I
happy.
look over at your shelf, and
I have 2 or 3 of
there's a lot of Gremlins over there. For you to pick this one out.
I know. I know, because it's like, oh, well, why wouldn't you pick Stripe? He's the main guy, or the Gamer Gremlin, because he's, he was his own kind of release. But he's simple, he's straightforward. It's like perfectly executed. He looks like he is actually singing.
Right.
I don't know. I love him.
Okay, number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5. Oh,
Who dis?
This is the Hasbro Transformers Siege Soundwave. I like to tell the story of when I was a kid. Soundwave was my favorite back, the original cartoon. And I asked Santa for Soundwave, and I waited till Christmas morning. I got up, I ran to the tree. We got to open presents, and I got Hound.
He's the Jeep, right?
Yeah, he's the Jeep. So Soundwave was high on my list for I ended up getting Soundwave.
Okay.
But then I hunted forever for the Masterpiece Soundwave, but Masterpiece was kind of too expensive, kind of too big for me.
Okay.
So when this line came along, I was interested, but Hasbro, I think, knew that at Toy Fair. Remember that shit? And we got our goodie bag, and it had the Siege Optimus Prime in it.
Yeah.
And then Soundwave came out, and that was just the beginning of the end, and I got into the Siege line. That's what got me into Transformers again.
It's your favoritist of the year.
It is. Yeah, well, it's my 5th favorite.
Well, okay.
I mean, there's better versions, but that's my favorite version. I like the Masterpiece, but I don't know. I feel like you can't mess with it. You can't play with it.
I
This
don't
I
even
can.
like to pose my. Oh no!
Oh no, it's a toy. I gotta go.
Poor Soundwave. Now he's all beat up for that. That's why he's got that deco all beat up, because he knew you were going to be throwing him around anyway.
Good as new.
Yeah.
It's a toy.
Cool. Transformers represent.
That's right.
Up on.
And probably the first time I've had a Transformer on my top 5 list.
Yeah.
Since adult
Since
collecting.
you were 6 or 7. Yeah.
yeah. Back in the day. So number 4.
Number 4.
Fwoosh 4.
Oh, there's a little show on Disney Plus. You may have heard of it. Mando.
Mando.
The Mandalorian. Even if I didn't think that show was awesome, which I do, Hasbro really killed it with this figure. For me, never being such a huge fan of Boba Fett, and for the Black Series Boba Fett figure to be so restricted in a lot of its movement with the pouches and whatnot, this figure really does everything that I kind of wanted out of a Boba Fett figure. You know, he moves well. He's got that cool gun.
Call back to the holiday special.
The colors work, even though this was a short-lived armor.
But the first half of the first episode.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to get another one, I'm sure. But I'm reinvigorated with Star Wars in general, and with Black Series as well. And the figures from The Mandalorian, strangely enough, have turned out to be some of the best ones that they've done this year, IG-11 notwithstanding.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Poor IG.
Poor IG. This is my favorite Black Series figure of the year. No problem.
Well, you know what the crazy thing is? I didn't know what order you were going in. I knew you had picked him. But I didn't know you had picked him at number 4 because my number 4 is the heavy Mandalorian.
It's the beefy boy version of Mando.
Paz Vizsla or
Holy crap, he is awesome.
God.
And Cara Dune's awesome. So.
In the show, he was awesome.
Yep.
Right. But to see him in the episode, and then for this to go up on Best Buy to order, and then have it before the next episode comes out. That's amazing.
That's cool.
Synergy.
That's toy
That's
coordination that just doesn't exist.
Perfect world, that would happen every episode. Plus the figure came out, he's big, he's chunky, but he's agile.
So
man.
well.
Oh, the articulation. And the way he can hold that.
Yeah. Well, and you're right when you said he was awesome in the show. He showed up, and at first you were thinking, man, this is Bluto. Or this is Brom Bones, you know, from Ichabod Crane. He's just going to be the antagonistic, and no. You want to see him come back around at some point, you know, for sure.
And you want him in plastic form, and they already delivered.
He's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Both in execution and character.
I want everybody from that show.
Right,
but the fact that they pushed him out so quickly and he turned out as well as he did, that's like, he's like the best surprise figure of the year.
This is the way.
Yeah, that is the way.
I know I keep saying that every time he comes up, but it's awesome.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Since we're on such a roll here, I guess we're not going to break much from Star Wars because my next one is a Star Wars entrant, but I am stepping away from the Black Series and moving to Bandai SH Figure Arts for the Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi, which Obi-Wan Kenobi is my favorite Star Wars character.
It is.
The Episode 3 look for him is my favorite look for him. To me, he's right up there with the Padawan version as far as being the best versions of Kenobi that Bandai's done and really Hasbro has done. I love this bearded boy.
Because I waited a long time to open this up because for some reason I didn't like the episode 2.
That's the weakest one out of all of them.
It doesn't move as well.
He's
it
short.
doesn't look great. It's weirdly, oddly
His
sized.
legs are real skinny.
So when I finally opened it, he shot up on my list of Obi-Wan figures.
Right. And I didn't think that he would be able to run close because I think the Padawan version is pretty much perfect. And the New Hope version is good too, but not as good as this. He's going to be the front and center main like prequel figure once I get my Star Wars shelves up.
Totally worth it.
Waiting for him. And you know, it was a figure that actually came out in the first part of the year, so I'm not forgetting 3/4 of the year when it comes to a list like this.
Well, I'm going to veer off from Star Wars for a second.
Come back around though. We're at 3. Yep.
My third one is the Marvel Legends Avengers Endgame Worthy Captain America, or Power and Glory, or whatever they called it. Or the custom shield is awesome, but even before the custom
just
shield,
comes with the regular
he
shield.
comes with an unbroken shield.
Yeah.
But the figure, I don't know. One, I may be a sucker.
Yes.
But man, this scene in the movie,
Yeah.
I'm always angry scene, put a tear in my eye, and then this scene, it was like, oh, well, there's the bookend. There's the other tear on the other eye. That hits me right here, right here. And to have it in action figure form, Hasbro did such a fantastic job here.
Yeah.
I have some figure arts Captain America's. They don't stack up to this.
That is America's ass.
That is America's ass right there.
Mm-hmm.
The proportions, he's broad, but narrow. It just works.
I was going to say, proportions-wise, this is by far, out of any company, I think the best Chris Evans proportion Captain America that's been done.
It is. Yeah. He just stands and you just feel it. That's personality right there. Yep. That's presence.
Yep.
It fits into your Legends display, but it also fits in your figure arts display if you want it there. He's kind of bigger, broader. I passed on the figure arts.
Yeah, and now that one was exclusive. Seems weird that this was an exclusive, right?
The Walmart exclusive. That's right. I can't say enough good things about it. Plus $20.
You know who would say awful things about that figure?
Who would dare say awful things?
Doom would dare say awful things about that lowly Captain America. While Colossus is one that makes me very happy, Doom makes me, I don't know, relieved at this point that, oh my gosh, not only is this an incredible action figure of Doctor Doom, but also Fantastic Four is back. And that means we're going to get more toys, but holy shit, they decided they were going to blow the doors off.
And this isn't a I just got this thing's awesome kind of thing.
I've been waiting on a new Doom for
a while.
a long, long time.
And they killed it.
They did. The texture on the tunic, swirly metallic plastic, but it's a little more understated here than, because sometimes you get those Iron Man figures and you can really see the swirls, and that's apparent in some places on here, but it's really a little bit more subdued. The only thing that I would probably say is that I think the tunic is the skirt piece of the tunic is a little long. I normally see that as ending like right where the gun holster ends as well. I don't even care because Doom. That's
all you had to say.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that, yes, this is a favorite list, but he's also one of the best Marvel Legends. And that's saying a lot.
The big honking ball joint they put at the bottom of the neck to compensate for the hood being up top.
Yeah. And that's saying a lot with all the Legends that came out this year with the 80th anniversary stuff. I mean, it was a crazy year for Marvel Legends. But yes, he snuck out here right at the very end, but it's not just a matter of timing because he is amazing.
Oddly enough, at number 2, I also chose an armored character.
Yeah.
That's weird. This is the Kyoto Amazing Yamaguchi Bleeding Edge Iron Man.
And Doom thinks he sucks.
I've always liked the Amazing Yamaguchi line. I get frustrated with the Revoltech joints, but with Iron Man, it's just a different style of articulation. They changed it up to make it a little bit
appealing to you,
a little more comfortable in the posing department.
Okay.
Plus, on top of just the candy red.
Yeah, the paint dull blue. Looks really good.
The gold is a little bit dull, but it plays off the candy. The proportions, the size, the articulation is just amazing all the way around.
Yeah.
For an Iron Man figure.
Yeah.
I didn't bring all the attachments and everything else, but there's missiles and guns.
Now he's the one that's got all the things that come, the little missiles coming out.
All the craziness coming out of them and stuff. This is my favorite Iron Man.
What armor is that?
Bleeding Edge.
Is that Bleeding Edge?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you say that? And
yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
I know. You were thinking about your number 1 pick. You were like, what am I going to say about my number 1 pick? He's a little bit taller. Well, of course, this cap is a little bit smaller, but the comic figures. I wish you had some comic book action figures.
I don't own comic book action figures. Not a one. Wow, we're already number 1.
We're already at number 1.
We are already at number 1, and I feel like a drum roll or something should be happening here. But
I'm terrible at that.
Well, if I do a drum roll, I'm just going to knock all these guys over.
Okay.
Here, so I'm not going to do it. But so this has been kind of the year. In retrospect, Ninja Turtles was a big line for me as a kid. And so I'm happy that it's turning into a big line for me as an adult. So this isn't, it's kind of a cheat, but the Bebop and Rocksteady NECA cartoon action figures came in the same set together. And had they been separated, I probably would have just chosen one of them. But since they came together, I'm kind of taking this as one release. And it almost seems...
Favorite release.
Favorite release. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It would seem like sacrilege to
split them
up.
And how do you pick your favorite child?
Bebop has always been my favorite character out of the two of them, but they're so balanced in terms of there's a lot of cool stuff that is better here, but there's also a lot of cool stuff that's better here. As far as cartoon representations go, these guys are about goddamn perfect. I mean, they do it better than the turtle figures that they've even done. These guys are absolutely amazingly wonderful to me in every way. You got to heat them up a little bit to get them started. But now they move really well. They pose dynamically with a lot of personality. They complement and scale to the turtles and Shredder beautifully. I cannot wait for everything that they're going to do, and it's going to be spoiled turtle collector for what looks like years to come.
And near and far future.
I love these guys so much.
You're making me feel bad about my number one.
Well,
I can't. Unapologetic. Seems very unexciting, but to me, getting the SH Figure Arts A New Hope Stormtrooper,
I don't know what it is for some reason.
I don't know what it is about this figure. I've had the model kit, loved it. Black Series is adequate for how old it actually is.
Yeah.
The first version of the Figure Arts Stormtrooper was small. It looked oddball.
The helmet was a little off.
The helmet was off.
Yeah.
Then the Rogue One came out, and I was interested, but its helmet still looked a little bit off. And then even when the promo pics for this came out, I thought, it still looks weird. It's got some flourishes. Like the actual Stormtrooper armor doesn't have this seam line right here or right here.
There's the break kind of with the black down there at the bottom.
They did it just to kind of, I don't know, make it more interesting. I'll be damned if this doesn't look like a Stormtrooper to me. They all look like Stormtroopers. That's hard to explain. But there's something about the helmet here, the proportions, the stance.
You can hear him say, hey!
Hey, what was that?
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah, it's just a Star Wars Stormtrooper, but...
Let's fight.
It's the Stormtrooper I've been waiting. Well, the model kit is still on the shelf. They're all still on the shelf. I don't know why I picked this as number one.
Well, you don't have to justify it.
You just said I had to.
Well, I'm trying to be nice now.
Yeah, I know. I love this thing.
Well, good.
The sheen of it, the color of it, the size of it.
At the very least, you're going to have either some emphatic supporters or people saying, Robo, what the hell?
Well, I mean, if nothing else, it goes back to the original trilogy, right? Everybody loves the original trilogy. Any given day, I could mix and match all these figures.
That's the thing. If we were to shoot this tomorrow, there might be a difference. In my list. And for the front page for an article, I'm going to pick my number one release. Spoiler alert, it's not going to change.
No.
But, I'll have, my listings of a few more things. And it's hard with the top five because you've got to feel like you're really on the ball. But when you expand to 10 or something like that, it feels like you can have a little bit more breathing room.
Plus, as reviewers and as much stuff as we buy, you feel like you have to represent from each company or each line
property.
And stuff. And I tried to throw that out of my head. That's why there's 2 Star Wars figures.
Well, and that's what I didn't want to say. I didn't want to say, Doom represents a lot. Well, yeah, he does, but at the same time, he is on this list for his own merits. And that is it.
And looking at mine, I mean, Captain America, Iron Man, Stormtrooper, Soundwave. It's just, I could have deep dove into something and picked out.
But you and I both kind of have a wild card with the Gremlin and Midori. Midoriya, yeah, over there. So
yeah.
So that's there.
And and this is not a because it's brand new type thing. That's just an awesome action figure, the Heavy Mandalorian. So there it is.
There it is.
Our top fives plus, or our favorite fives.
Favorite fives plus honorable mention.
So here's our favorite 12.
It was a hell of a year for action figures.
Oh man, it's still, I mean, got the Spider-Man wave coming next week.
Next week?
Before the end of the year. Well, you have yours right now. Shut up.
Mine arrived yesterday.
Where'd you get them from?
www.dorksidetoys.com. So
Either next month, next week,
next
couple
year.
months, Toy Fair. Toy
Yeah,
Fair would
we got
definitely
Toy
be up
Fair,
here. So
coming up.
either way, we'll catch you on the Fwoosh,
on the Fwoosh.
on the squash.